Nonprofits need volunteers so dramatically, and particularly since over the last 40, 50 years, so many women are in the workforce now. It used to be that women at home kept the community afloat through their nonprofit activities, through their volunteer activities. And now it's harder for nonprofits to find people who actually have the time and the interest to help them. So for the nonprofits, your contribution in participating in their mission is going to be huge. And they're going to give you more opportunity than you may get at work to advance, to try out new skills, to try out something that you learned here in this series of classes that you may be a little bit afraid to try out at work, because at work your career kind of depends on it. But if you try that skill out in the nonprofit setting, it's going to benefit the nonprofit, you're going to learn from it, and it's much lower risk than if you try to do it in your business. For example, when I was involved in the United Way here, I took on the role of chair of strategic planning. Now, I had never done strategic planning. So I got a consultant by a professor of mine from the university to come in and be the consultant for this. And I learned so much. I learned so much about strategic planning. But in addition, by going through the process, and a really good process, we completely changed the organization for the better. I mean, we just completely changed the orientation of United Way of Salt Lake. So it benefited the organization, but it benefited me because now I had a skill set that I could bring back to the bank that I wouldn't have had otherwise, because I wouldn't have learned it at the bank. The way they did strategic planning was stupid. So that's the first thing, is you're able to give back, you're able to learn, but the other part of this is networking. You will meet people in the nonprofit setting that you would never have a chance to meet in your job. And particularly as you get involved on boards, you will get to meet the heads of other companies. And that advantage, I mean, there's just no other way. You're going to get to meet them and network with them. And as I said, industry associations are important too, because I was involved, my field was wealth management for the most part at the bank. And so I was involved in American Bankers Association Trust Division national organization, and went to a conference and played golf every year. And one year, my golf partner was a man who ran the trust department for Wells Fargo out of Minneapolis. So when all of a sudden Wells Fargo turns out to buy First Security Bank, the position I was in as an executive at First Security didn't exist at Wells Fargo, because I had 6 different product lines and that reported to me, but each one of those reported to a different area of the bank in Wells Fargo. So I would have been completely eliminated. But the first call I got that first day when we learned that Wells Fargo had bought us was from Jay Krajowski, my golf partner, who said, "Don't go anywhere. You've got a job with me no matter what happens." I would have been out of a job if I hadn't had that networking opportunity. So I think it's really important. Find something you love to do that will enable you to give back to the community. Use it to build your skill sets, and use it to meet people who will be part of your network going forward.